Greetings, everyone. Greetings, everyone. This is a recorded video of Friday's segment, Flourish and Flow. Topics celebrating your wins in the next chapter. Unfortunately, I did not go live on Wednesday morning or Friday morning due to me not feeling my best. I am feeling a little better now, better enough to record this video. So our weekly theme for the week of August 18th through the 22nd has been exploring next chapter living, redefining yourself beyond the old routine. Okay, so life after one chapter ends. It could look like retirement. It could look like career change. It could even be a personal reinvention of your life. Starting your own business. Writing a book. Creating a workbook, a spiritual workbook, an adult coloring book. I've seen so many different things that people have been doing in their next chapter. And we want to explore how to embrace those new opportunities, how to embrace those new passions, or a current passion that you have that you just haven't had time for, and to explore the pace, how to keep your pace steady when trying to get into your new chapter or in your new chapter. So we've been discussing all of those things all week long, starting with Monday, which was episode 19 of the Cup of Cocoa and Chat podcast. Monday was Mindful Milestone Monday. And our topic Monday was from career to calling, my journey into content creation and authorship. I talk about how I went from retirement to my next chapter and all the things in between and how everything unfolded to get me to where I am now. I shared different things in that episode, tips, how to stay steady and grounded. And then I moved to Tuesday, which was Transformation Truth Tuesday, where across all of my platforms, I share 3 truths that make your next chapter your best chapter. How to make your next chapter your best chapter. And then on Wednesday, which was Worth Wednesday, staying healthy and happy to your next season, right? Because staying healthy and happy helps you be successful in your next chapter. And then Thursday was thriving through transition, where I shared posts across the platform to show you how to thrive through your transitions to go into your next chapter or getting to your next chapter. And so we're going to wrap it all up with today's Flourish and Flow Friday, We're going to learn how to celebrate our wins in our next chapter. No matter how big, how small, we're going to learn to celebrate those and what that looks like. So, our focus today is all about the fact that it's never too late to flourish. No matter how old you are, how far in your first chapter you are, it's never too late to flourish. Okay? For those that do not know me, I am Princess, host of Cup of Cocoa and Chat. This is where we sip, share, and start the day with intention, encouragement, and a little something more for the soul. I am live every Wednesday and Friday from 6 a.m. to around 7 or 8 a.m. Eastern Time, bringing you real talk, inspiration, community love, and all the cozy morning vibes. As I said earlier, I was not live because I wasn't feeling my best. So I recorded Wednesday's segment. I have not uploaded that. Once I'm done with recording this segment, I will upload both of them. And I will post on all my platforms that the segments are uploaded for your view. And whenever you want more, you can catch new episodes of Cup of Cocoa and Chat, the podcast. And that's every Monday on Spotify and YouTube. And for that midweek boost, I share extra doses of motivation, inspiration, and information on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I start out the week on Sunday. I give you a tease as to what's coming for that week. And then I started off with my podcast and go straight on through. And we ended with a live on Friday. So stay connected, stay encouraged, and let's continue to grow together, because community is everything. And I've learned that community has been so vital for me in my new chapter. So I created a motivation stack that I want to share with you, and I only have 3 tips that I want to share to end our week. So tip 1 is redefine what counts as a win. Because we go through life and we rarely celebrate our wins. And what I mean by that is we celebrate milestones, we celebrate our birthdays, anniversaries, we celebrate births, life after death. We celebrate death by celebrating the we actually honor the person by celebrating their life after death. But we don't often celebrate our wins, right? No matter how small or how large, we have daily wins, we have weekly wins, we have monthly wins. Heck, we may even have hourly wins, right? Depending on what you deem as your win. But they get lost, right? They get lost because we don't look at those things as wins, right? So I'm here to help you redefine what counts as a win. Because in this season, a win isn't always a big milestone. It could be finally resting, right? A lot of us don't take the time to rest because we feel guilty when we're resting. Because there's so many things that we have to do that sometimes rest gets lost. Just like celebrating those wins gets lost. We have projects that we start that we never finish. A win is starting that project. A win is getting that project finished, right? A win can be taking the first step toward a new passion. We have passions that we never act on. And when we do act on them, we don't celebrate them. We don't celebrate them, right? Every forward move deserves recognition. Every forward move deserves recognition. If you have been thinking about walking and you decide tomorrow to walk for 15 minutes, a half an hour, celebrate it. Celebrate it. Every forward move deserves recognition. If you start journaling tomorrow, celebrate it. If there's been something that's been nagging you and you've been wanting to do it and haven't done it yet, if you start tomorrow, celebrate it. Okay? Every forward move deserves recognition, and we don't do that enough. We don't do it enough, okay? Tip number 2, create a celebration ritual. However that may look for you, create that ritual. Every time you walk an additional mile, if you're walking, if you have to scream it, thank God. Create a celebration ritual that you can do every time you celebrate a win. Don't just notice your wins, mark them. Light a candle. Journal about it. Share it with a friend. Play your favorite song. Dance your favorite dance. Celebrating keeps you motivated for the next step. It gets you ready. It gets you focused. It brings out that oomph in you. It brings out your drive to make you want to continue on to that next step. Because every first step has a second step, and so on and so on forth. Tip 3, release comparison. Release comparison. Your chapter doesn't have to look like anyone else's. Your chapter won't look like mine. Your chapter won't look like hers. It won't look like your friends. It won't look like your sisters. It won't look like your brothers. Your next chapter will not look like anybody else's chapter. Okay? Celebrate it at your own pace. Flourishing happens when you stop measuring against others and start honoring your own growth. Right? New parents, when they want to honor their children's growth, a lot of them have the growth charts in the inside of the doorway or in the inside of the door frame, so that they can show the child how they have grown. right? And then we stop. Some parents continue it with their children, but do you honor your own growth in a way that you enjoy? Release your comparison and start honoring your growth and never compare it to anyone else's growth. Okay? Now, I have a Coco and chat question. What's one big win, big or small, that you've had in this season of your life that deserves to be celebrated? What do you have currently in your life, in the chapter you're in, big or small, that needs or deserves to be celebrated? And how did it remind you that it's never too late to flourish? Hold it in your heart. Think about it. What is one win, big or small, that you have had in this season of your life that deserves to be celebrated? And how did it remind you that it's never too late to flourish? For me, my win this week is holding this right here. This is the proof copy of my book, When Mama Is Home, a memoir of love, loss, and legacy. This book is more than pages. It's years of memories, tears, and faith bound together. I got my copy on Monday from Amazon, so that I could go over it, make any corrections that's needed, and then it goes to the publishing company and they will publish it, and hopefully, with God, if it's God's will, next week it will be available. Towards the end of the week, it will be available for sale on Amazon. So this reminds me that no matter your age, no matter the season, it's never too late to flourish. One chapter of my life closed in 2017. I did so many things from 2000. I retired in December of 2017, January of 2018, until now. I've done so many things to get me to this chapter. So many things. And I can honestly say I am happy in this chapter. And I know that it's never too late to flourish, right? God said there's more to write in every sense of the word that I put in this book. So this is my second book. My first book was an ebook, more of an informational guide. My first book was more of an informational guide, and it's an ebook. My second book is in paperback, and it's my mom's memoir. Her life as it was told to me, and all of the memories that I'll always hold dear to me, all in one place. This book is proof that we all bloom in our next chapter. Okay. So our first affirmation of this segment is, I honor where I am today. I honor where I am today. So I want you to celebrate. I don't want you to diminish where you are today. I want you to honor where you are today. And I want you to celebrate that you're still growing and still flourishing and still moving forward in your next chapter. So I honor where I am today, and I celebrate that I am still growing, still flourishing, and still moving forward in my next chapter. And that's our first affirmation of the day. I honor where I am today, and I celebrate that I am still growing, still flourishing, and still moving forward in my next chapter. Okay? So, our talking points. Well, before I go into our talking points, I want to go over the goal for this segment. Okay? It's to help us recognize and celebrate the wins in our current season, right? So I don't want you to diminish where you are in your current season, but I also want you to think about your next chapter and how that looks and what that could be. Okay? And I want you to celebrate the wins, whether big or small, so you can see that it's never too late to flourish. It's never too late to flourish. Through reflection and conversation, we're going to learn to redefine what success looks like in our next chapter, honor where we are, and step forward with joy, love, and confidence to get us to our next chapter. So our talking points: redefining wins. We went over that a little bit, but we're going to just follow it up and close it out. Redefining wins. The power of sharing your wins and flourishing at your own pace. Because we've been walking through this week theme, next chapter living, redefining yourself beyond the old routine. We've talked about change, we've talked about growth, and redefining our rhythm, right? Today we're wrapping it all up with something so important as celebrating our wins, because it's never too late to flourish. And your next chapter deserves a victory dance. So reflecting back on the week's journey, from Monday's first step into a new season, and through my eyes, through my lens, to Tuesday's reframe of how it could look in your next chapter, to Wednesday's wellness and how to stay healthy and happy when you're in your new chapter, or when you go into your new chapter, or even in the chapter you're in, right? That's what Wednesday was all about. And Thursday was the adjustments. The adjustments to look through lens when life is changing for you. And today is about flourishing and flowing. So in this next chapter, every win is more than just a task checked off, right? It's a statement about who you are becoming. When you set a boundary, you're declaring that your peace matters. Okay? So when you set any boundaries, you're declaring that your peace matters. When you take that 10-minute walk, or you journal, or you take care of yourself physically, You're reminding yourself that your health matters. Okay? When you update your resume, you're saying my growth is not finished. And when you write even one page of your story, you are affirming my voice has value. So I want you to remember that do things where your peace matters. Do things where your health matters. Do things where your growth is still moving. Do things where you affirm that your voice has value, which will all make you ready for your next chapter. Because these are not just actions, they are identity shifts. They are identity shifts. And each small step is shaping the bigger picture of your life. Because your voice should matter. Your health should matter. Your peace should matter. Your growth should still move forward. And your voice, if I didn't say it, your voice should always have value. One by one, all of those things help you to begin to write the story you tell yourself about what's possible for your next chapter. That's how flourishing happens, not in one giant leap, but in daily choices that line up with the future you desire. Right? Because we should continue to constantly grow. So the question isn't, was it a big win? The real question is, did this win move me closer to the person I'm becoming in this chapter to get me to my next chapter? Did this win move me closer to the person I'm becoming in this chapter and to move me to my next chapter? Because if the answer is yes, then it's worth celebrating. If the answer is yes, it's worth celebrating. So that's how you redefine your wins. Because not only are you going to notice your wins, you're going to start learning how to celebrate your wins. And now that you know what to look for, Now that you know what to look for, you know to start celebrating. Start celebrating. If you worked all week and you got through the week, that's a win. If you thought about a new adventure and you made one step forward to making that adventure happen, that's a win. If you journaled for the first time, you put your thoughts on paper, that's a win. Wins can look different for everyone. Just mark them. Remember them. Celebrate them. Now let's go into the power of sharing your wins. Because wins multiply when they're shared. Share your win. It doesn't have to be on a platform. It doesn't have to be on the internet. A lot of people don't like to share on the internet. It could be a friend. It could be a family member. If you have no one to share your wins with, write it down. Share it with God. Because when you celebrate out loud, you don't just honor your own progress. You help other people recognize theirs. Because you give other people something to think about when you share your wins. Because you sharing a win and the person you sharing it with can reflect on it and think about, oh wow, I have a win also. I got through that week. I learned a new skill. I updated my resume. I started walking. I started drinking water. Okay? You sharing your win multiplies. Wins multiplied when they are shared. Your testimony can be somebody else's roadmap, reminding them that progress is possible in this season, not just someday. Not just someday. Sharing a win isn't bragging. It's like modeling. You're modeling your success for someone else. It says, here's what trying looked like for me. Here's what grace looked like when I stumbled. Here's what faith looked like when I kept going. That transparency gives people permission to keep moving in their own lane at their own pace. So you can think about it like this. When you share a process win, example, I wrote for 15 minutes today in my journal. You normalize small steps. When you share a resilience win, it looks like I rested without guilt. You normalize recovery. When you share a breakthrough win, it's like I held my proof copy up, just like I held this up for you. You show what consistent faithfulness can produce. And notice what happens in community. One win sparks another. So me sharing this can spark something in someone else. Someone hears your story and thinks, if she can do that, maybe I can try my step too. And that's momentum that we build together. Because it may not look like you writing a book, but it could be you doing or trying something else, right? And that builds momentum. That builds momentum for our community. So here's how to share your wins with grace. Lead with gratitude. Example, I am grateful for being able to get my thoughts and my words on paper to produce this first copy. Name the step, not the spotlight. This week I completed. This week I completed. Offer your lesson. What help was. Turn it outward. If you're in this season too, try this. If you're in this season too, try celebrating a small win, right? And here's what it looks like when you share wins with grace. I'm grateful to hold this proof copy today. The step was showing up to the page even when it felt slow. What helped was setting 20 minutes writing blocks and asking for prayer when I needed strength. Because writing this book was not easy for me at all. Although I'm telling my mother's story, how will other people react? How will other people think about my mother? Would they think the same thing that I thought when I was writing it? How strong she was? So setting that 20-minute writing blocks and asking for prayer when I needed strength was a lot for me. If you're working on your next chapter, book, or otherwise, try one small block today and celebrate it. I've been celebrating since Monday. Actually, I've been celebrating since I shared with my brother the first chapter. I sent him the first chapter. Afraid of what he might think. Like, why are you telling Mom a story? I shared the first 2 chapters with my niece. She learned a couple of things, especially in the second chapter. So last but not least, flourishing at your own pace. Success in the next chapter does not come with a deadline, right? There's no timer on purpose. It's no stopwatch on healing and no expiration date on growth. Flourishing is less about speed and more about steadiness, showing up faithfully, one aligned step at a time. When we rush, we start performing for approval. And that's not what your next chapter is about. It's not about approval. It's not about approval because the only person that has to approve of your next step is God, and He already knows your next step. He just hasn't revealed it to you yet. So when we pace ourselves, we build endurance. Slow is not stuck. Slow is sustainable. Sustainable. Think of it like tending a garden. Some seeds sprout in days, others take a season, but both are growing right on time. Give yourself permission to move at the pace that protects your peace. Pace of learning. Take one lesson at a time. Mastery loves patience. Rest without guilt. Recovery is progress. If you need to take a rest, take a rest. After I retired, I took a rest for a little bit before I started working again. Right? I had to find out who I was beyond my title of being a supervisor, for being there for others, for being responsible for others. I had to find out what it was like not having a title. Because title doesn't equal identity. So I had to find my identity when I retired. So that took rest. I had to rest. I had to think. So many things were going on during that time. Because I wanted to retire 2 years prior when my mom was still living. Like, I had to think about, I wanted to retire so I could spend more time with my mother because she was getting older, right? So it was really hard for me. I had to find out who I was and what was next for me, because I had no idea. God knew, but I didn't. And so I had to jump through a whole lot of hoops and do a whole lot of different things that I thought would make me happy. But that's life, and that's how it happens. And that was my roadmap, and that was the design for me to get to where I am today, right? And it's more in store, but it just hasn't been revealed to me. And it is slowly, from January to now, has been an absolute joy. Sometimes I think it's moving fast, then sometimes I think it's not moving fast enough. And then I think, why am I questioning it? Just flow and let it flourish. So, because the goal isn't to prove you can move fast, it is to remain faithful long enough to see fruit. The goal isn't to prove you can move fast. It's to remain faithful long enough to see fruit. And let me back up a little, because I gave you learning pace, which was take one lesson at a time. Mastery loves patience. And I gave you healing pace, which is rest without guilt. Recovery is progress. I don't think I gave you the purpose of pace. The purpose of pace is to do the next thing, the next right thing. Because consistency compounds. Consistency compounds. So do the next right thing. Because again, the goal isn't to prove you can move fast. It's to remain faithful long enough to see your fruit. And here's some gentle practices to support your pace. Set right size goals. And what I mean is finish the book with write for 20 minutes. Like, your goal shouldn't be, I need to finish this. But your goal should be in steady paces. Or right size, just that right size. Your goal should be, I started this new project, and your ultimate goal is to finish. But in your mind, replace I got to finish with small right size goals. Let me work on this for 20 minutes today. Let me work on this for 20 minutes tomorrow. Let me work on this for 20 minutes the next day. You understand? You get where I'm going with that? Another gentle practice, build buffer time. Leave white space on your calendar so life can breathe. Don't fill your calendar up with all the things, because you have time. You have time. Like, spread it out. Don't overwhelm yourself, in other words. Don't overwhelm yourself. Let yourself breathe. Another practice. Celebrate weekly evidence. Right? Start naming 3 things you did that support who you're becoming and celebrate them. Remember, we're redefining our wins. We're redefining our wins, no matter how big or small. So name 3 things you did that support who you're becoming. Who you're becoming in this chapter, or who you're becoming and getting into that next chapter. Name 3 things and celebrate. Have that evidence so that you can celebrate it. Another gentle practice. Use compassion language. Stop saying I'm behind and start saying I'm becoming. Talk nice to yourself. Be compassionate with yourself. Change that language that you're hearing in your head, because it's actually you speaking to yourself. Change that language. Be compassionate. So now we're at our Faith and Cocoa moment. And I want to give you a scripture from Philippians chapter 1, verse 6. Being confident of this, but he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. Being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. If God started it, he's not done with you yet. This chapter is still unfolding in his perfect timing. If God started it, he's not done with you yet. This chapter is still unfolding in his perfect time. Okay? So that brings us to our community shout out. Every Friday, I shout out my family. Whether you're in my Facebook group, whether you're from my favorited family, my IG family, my YouTube family, my TikTok family, my family, my friends, I celebrate you, right? That's one thing I love, to celebrate others. So before we close, I want to take a moment for our community spotlight. First, a big welcome to my cousin Veronica, who just joined our Facebook group. Family, make sure you show her some love and help her feel right at home in our Cocoa and Chat community. And second, I want to pause and celebrate with my Facebook family. You've been cheering me on, and today I get to celebrate with you as I hold the proof copy of my book, When Mama Was Home, a memoir of love, loss, and legacy. This is not just my win, it's our win, because so many of you have been a part of this journey with me, right? I want to read my my no, I'm not going to read this. I'm going to read this another time. But it's my dedication. I'm going to read that another time. I'm just going to go on with my closing affirmation. And this is our second affirmation of the segment. I celebrate my progress, honor my journey, and welcome every opportunity to flourish in my next chapter, whatever that looks like for you. I celebrate my progress, I honor my journey, and welcome every opportunity to flourish in my next chapter. So that wraps up this Flourishing and Flow Friday. But before we go, I want to leave you with this thought. Every new chapter gives us a chance to grow, to celebrate, and to begin again. Your wins, no matter how small, are the proof that you are still becoming. Don't wait for the world to validate your progress. Honor it yourself and let God's love carry you the rest of the way. The next chapter isn't just coming, it's already here, and it has your name on it. It's been designed by God. So if you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to like, share, and invite someone to join us here on Cup of Cocoa and Chat. I'll be back next Wednesday, same time, 6 a.m. For Favorited Eastern, 6 a.m. And for Facebook and YouTube, 6:30 a.m. next Wednesday. Until then, take care, be bold, and as always, peace, blessings. I love you guys, and I mean it. Bye for now.